Alright fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters, and so tomorrow we're going to be in the re-release of the Legendary Gauntlet alongside the Legendary Gauntlet Pokefair Scout, and this banner's cracked. This is a very, very good banner. Rei, Challenger, Gloria, and Hilbert, these are all pretty strong characters, all very strong characters, right? Especially with investment, and even without investment, all these characters do have legitimately good usages. I can't believe all of these characters at once are going to be in one scout. That's absolutely nuts to me. And I guess let's just go ahead and look at it, right? So, first we have Rei and Hisuian Decidueye, an absolutely crazy, ludicrous damage-dealing sprint sync pair with full investment stats here of 572 attack, 212 defense, 238 special defense, 464 speed, 842 health. These are really good stats, right? The bulk stats are not that amazing. The HP's fine. Speed's really good. Attack's really good. Pretty much what you consider of a damage-dealing sprint character, right? About par for the course. And for his damaging moves, he's got triple arrows, a 4-gauge move, 165 power, crits land more easily, though that does not really matter for him, has a 50% chance of debuffing enemy defense, a 30% chance to make the enemy flinch, 2 uses of move gauge boost, which is not really a great move in itself, but he does have a few things that makes it good in the grid, or at least a little bit valuable. He's also got Triple Arrows Barrage, his buddy move, which is one of the craziest buddy moves in the game, in my opinion, especially with how he functions as a sprint character. It's a 4-gauge move that hits all enemies, 275 power, activates when the sync pair uses a sync move once, and it's deactivated when used, meaning every time the team uses a sync move, he's going to be getting this same effect, right? He was not the inventor of this system. I think that was Champion Marnie, where she had the infinitely repeatable buddy move whenever the allies synced. But of course, this has still been in effect of other characters like Champion Silver, right? Characters still get a ton of characters still get these types of abilities, and all of them have been pretty much crazy strong. It's got, except in certain circumstances, attacks become crits, lowers target defense by 2, makes the target flinch, and the power and chance of applying additional effects of this move are not lowered even if there are multiple targets. So you've got guaranteed -2 defense debuffs, you've got amazing damage that is not split by multiple enemies, and you've got guaranteed flinches. Combine that with his 30% flinch chance on triple arrows, and this character is good for flinching. He's got good flinch chances, plus guaranteed flinching, which is all really good. Then he's got the trainer move, Our Hearts Are One, which reduces sync countdown by 1, raises speed by 6, applies super effective next, and increases physical moves next by 2. You can use this very well in conjunction with queuing up the buddy move, because you can get a lot of sync acceleration with this character, get to that sync move, use that sync move, which could be enhanced by super effective next, or of course you use support X, right, whichever, and then immediately queue up the buddy move, which is then +2 physical moves next enhanced, and also super effective next enhanced if you used a other character's sync move. So Rei's got a lot of fun ramping potential, as well as good damage in terms of like how fast he can build up to it, right? He's got the innate sync move effect of inertia, right? A lot of sprint characters have this. He can max his speed, so he gets his multiplier pretty much maxed out, which is good. And obviously it's an AoE move because it's a sprint roll character, right? Or sorry, striker EX roll character. Looking at the passive skills, this is where his self-sufficiency comes in from Survey Core Teachings. Akari and Rei both share this ability, and it reduces sync countdown by 1 on entry, raises attack by 4, and crit by 3. So he's got full self-sufficiency in buffing his offenses, as well as a little bit more sync acceleration on top of the -1 he gives from the trainer move. So give him Head Start 1, or bring an ally like Aura Cynthia, who's got Head Start 1, or Champion Rosa, who you can run with Head Start 1, or something like that. And there's a lot of characters, right? The point is, there's a lot of characters, at least with the fighting setup, like Champion Hop as well, that can apply sync acceleration and work very well in conjunction with Rei for getting that sync ramping in and getting in uses to his sync move, ally sync moves, and then activating the buddy move on top of that for the flinches and damage and whatnot. That's how Rei functions. He's very fluid, right? He's also got sync move, team free moves next 9, applying free moves next to all allies after using his sync move. That's good for gauge efficiency on the team. Mostly a good ability in like the Rally or Legendary Gauntlet, not necessarily most other modes where you're actually trying to build a pretty coherent team and not really try to optimize around certain characters or team efficiency, I guess, right? So it's good. It's definitely, well, like it's not team efficiency, but like team cost, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, point is, it's a pretty decent ability, right? He's also got Soften Up 1 for guaranteed crits on the sync move. This is why I say that the crit effects off of triple arrows is not really that. It doesn't matter for the most part. I mean, I guess, again, in this case where, except in certain circumstances, attacks become crits, I guess this means it hits through, what, screens? I think? I don't think it has, I don't think it counts for passives, but still, either way, that's good, right? And then, of course, the guaranteed crits on the sync move as well is obviously going to be good, because it's also triple arrows, so I feel like this should have been just an innate sync effect, but giving him Soften Up 1 works out well enough, right? So, guaranteed crits on pretty much everything he's got. He's really good for that. He's got guaranteed. That's one of the big things I like about Rei, is he's pretty focused on crit damage and also fast damage with the triple arrows barrage, and he's really good for it. This is without any multipliers, by the way, and he's still pretty good without multipliers. Like, the triple arrows hits pretty hard in base, 1 out of 5 being 150 minimum power, the buddy move being 250 power, right? That's still pretty good. And again, you do have that inertia in a sync move effect, so you do get the -3 sync acceleration, as well as a pretty decently powered sync move on top of it. Nothing crazy, but definitely not like too shabby, again, for a character that you're going to have with minimum investment. But of course, he's going to get better with dupes as well. He's got 4 sync nodes, which brings his sync power up to 320. Insult to Injury, Bronze Sync 5, Head Start 1, Trainer with NPR, Triple Arrows Gauge Refresh, Honor Roll 1, and a few other tiles. But of course, Insult to Injury, Bronze Sync 5, and the 4 sync tiles are going to be his best bet to increasing sync damage and his actual DPS damage, right? On top of course, the move level increase for a little bit of increase in the base power of his moves. Not really that important, but still, it's something that happens. And he's going to be able to put out quite a bit more damage, right? This does help him do damage a lot better. He gets more defense debuff chances from Honor Roll 1. Well, I guess guaranteed, right, if you do pick it up. And he does get better sync damage as well. Pretty much a sync move that is equivalent to that of a mostly modern strike character, but this time he's a sprint character instead of strike. He's got the striker EX roll, but of course the sprint, providing that -3 sync countdown is good. And also gets move gauge boost, catalytic cure, which is really the only good utility of move gauge boost aside from actual gauge efficiency. So yeah, and I guess gauge refresh NPR too. So if you do need extra gauge or something, like for again a legendary gauntlet team, or maybe again battle rally, though probably not in this instance. Those battles tend to be too short to utilize this. You can again pick up that gauge boost NPR and catalytic cure for some HP restoration and whatever else. And with full investment, he does get Triple Arrows Aggravation 1 for a 60% chance to flinch at Triple Arrows Barrage with the guaranteed flinches, plus a 60% chance to flinch means that the enemy is mostly going to be unable to move if you do have to pick it up, and that's obviously good. Trainer move Slippery Sidekicks 2 for evasion buffs to the whole team. That dodge utility can be good in the Legendary Arena battles. Not much use elsewhere, but still, it's pretty solid utility, especially if you pick it up with Trainer with NPR, especially if you're willing to invest extra energy into him, which I have. It was fun. And then Mighty Command 9 for physical moves next when the trainer uses a move. I mean, I don't think this node is that crazy. I mean, you can get a little bit better burst damage on that first Triple Arrows Barrage if you do try and save it for that. But other than that, not really that crazy. And the speed debuffs, mostly just for the sake of having them. They're not really that great, but whatever. Anyway, point being, Rei, very good sync accelerating character with high-powered, fast damage on top of it. That's why he's probably considered the best counter for Palmer, right? He's so fast at doing damage and doing spread damage and providing damage enhancement in the form of like defensive debuffs and whatever else, right? Overall, good character, for sure. We've also got Challenger Gloria, of course. Challenger Gloria is a character that, man, she's got a lot of abilities. Her stats are nothing super insane. 430 attack's not that crazy, but still really, it's solid, right? It's still good. 840 health, 275 in both defenses. These are good defensive stats with her EX roll. I'm pretty sure this is when she gains her EX roll, right? No, she gained her EX. When did she gain her EX roll? Yeah, she gains it tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, she gains her EX roll from this, and this is probably the best EX roll she could get. Just because she's already a tech character, she wouldn't benefit from sprint. Field would have been funny because she has 3 different types, and that would have legitimately been pretty solid. But support gives her the stats and the support EX on her sync move, so it does give you, again, better utility for that, and it is pretty good. She's a pretty gauntlet-focused character because she has 3 different modes, and these modes are very good for covering different fights. It's not necessarily because of these modes, but it's more so because the flying mode has piercing blows. So yeah, having this piercing blows ability is really good for gimmick checking a lot of stages and also dodging them because Bounce can dodge. That's absolutely crazy. On top of that, she's also got Sync Acceleration when using Bounce, which is going to be giving you that Sync Acceleration, get you to your Sync move faster, makes the battle go faster, and of course that it does, of course, mitigate the fact that it is a multi-turn move, so that does help out there. Similar to that of Cygnus, who ends to Prepared 9, right? And also, she's got, among all the abilities, Passio's Ace, which lowers an enemy type rebuff by 2 after using its max move, and the type rebuff lowered is the same as the type of the max move used. If she uses max Airstream, it's flying rebuff, for example. If she uses max Fireball, it's fire rebuff, and max Knuckle is fighting rebuff. So she's got 3 different rebuffs she can set at her own choosing. 3 different damaging options. Fireball for her main big damage dealing move, right? Removes Frozen from her, 10% chance to burn, 4 gauges, 192 power, right? Really solid. And also High Jump Kick for a alternative fighting option, which isn't that crazy, but it can be there if you do want to use her for fighting damage. It's mostly to make usage of Cinderace's Libero ability, right? And her trainer move, Kickoff, raises her attack by 4, evasion by 1, and crit by 3, so you do get full self-sufficiency pretty much with her, right? And her 8/8 sync effect is when enemy rebuff is lowered, which again, she activates when using her max move. And by the way, her max move, G-Max Fireball, ignores passes that would reduce the damage of the move, and ignores passes that would protect the target against a crit, so it's also got its own innate Piercing Blows ability, so if you just need that Piercing Blows for like one action or something, then the Fireball G-Max move does work for that. Again, with the flying type, she has Piercing Blows and Sync Acceleration when using Bounce. With the fighting type, she's got Piercing Gaze so that you don't have to worry about taking that recoil from High Jump Kick. And it also restores her HP when using the move. I don't actually know how much HP this is. I would have to fact check, but I can only assume it's a decent amount. Nothing crazy, but a pretty decent amount. Again, mostly better to go for like Piercing Blows, though, if you're really trying to make usage of her abilities in fights where she's probably going to end up being the tank, right? Again, Bounce for dodge and Piercing Blows. And then her base, which is her fire, effectively fire mode, which is fuel economy 2, so Powerball becomes a 2-gauge move, High Jump Kick becomes a 1-gauge move, really funny, and you still maintain that power, right, so you don't have to worry about the gauges used up by Powerball, and having Bronze Sync 5 as well for another Sync Nuke multiplier. She's got 150% Sync Nuke multipliers just here at 1 out of 5, and that is pretty solid, honestly, again, if you do want to keep her at that level of investment. With dupes, she does get better, obviously. She's got Haymaker for another sync multiplier. This makes her damage for her sync move look pretty strong. Obviously, in the fire aspect, she's going to be doing a lot of damage, right? But also in the fighting and flying modes, this does help her out a lot too, considering these are very easy modes to activate, or very easy multipliers to activate. Haymaker just needing attack buffs, and the type rebuff that she can already set on the max move, right? Speaking of, by the way, max Airstream buffing speed's nice, and max Knuckle buffing attack is nice. Just wanted to note that. And then quite a few other tiles in her grid, like max move attack up, giving her attack, which is mostly good for bounce and Powerball, because again, you don't want to really use max Knuckle unless you really want to enhance fighting attackers, right? Slippery Slope for that evasion buffing. This just, again, helps her Gauntlet prowess. This is why she is one of the best Gauntlet characters, not a 14. I don't think she's a 14 out of 14 character off the top of my head, but she is, I believe, a 13 out of 13 character. And, well, simply because she's got dodge, a lot of dodge, and the ability to gimmick check the enemy, which is really good. Sync Quickening to get back those bounces, again, if you do want to use that mode. Sync Damage Guard for some damage protection. Opponent Fail physical boost here, giving her physical moves next when an enemy misses her. So if you do use that bounce or, Slippery Slope, the evasion buffs activate, then you're going to be getting free physical moves next, which is great for enhancing the damage of these already pretty strong moves, right? And then she's also got Burn Synergy 1 for a little bit of damage increase, but not really too much. I'd say one of the worst things about her is that if you are trying to make use of her for straightforward damage, like again in the form of all of these moves, Pyroball, the biggest one, obviously, there's no real multipliers for these moves, right? She's got Burn Synergy 1 and Super Duper Effective 1, which are not that great. She would definitely benefit from having more damage multipliers, especially considering she's only got 430 attack. It's not like her attack stat is like 600 or something, where she can kind of make up for that on her own. She's fine, right? It's just, in terms of damage, she's fine, but a lot of the biggest things that she can do is kind of gimmick check and enhance allies with her different rebuffs. And also, that kind of doesn't really change too much between her 5 out of 5 stuff. Healthy benefits, again, more gimmick checking stuff. She's able to take less damage on that first attack she actually takes. Dashing Team 9 for speed buffs, more utility for the team as well, right? Defense Crush 9, defense debuffs. This helps out her damage and, you know, can potentially substitute a multiplier, but also is able to enhance team damage as well. So I feel like she's more of a team-enhancing character, or a character with very high gimmick check ability, if given in these, like, again, lower power threshold modes, again, like the Legendary Gauntlet, pretty much exclusively. So, not bad, considering this is a Gauntlet banner, not bad for that, right? This is, like, the place to rerun this character. And I guess that's mostly all I have to say about Gloria. Really not bad at all. And finally, we will take a look at Signasid Hilbert here and Genesect. This guy's pretty funny. In terms of all of his stats, he's a tech strike character. He's got 480 special attack, 215 in both defensive stats, 830 health, and 391 speed. Good offensive stats, mediocre defensive stats, fine health, and 391 speed is pretty solid, frankly. Nothing crazy, but definitely not bad. He's got Metal Sound for debuffing enemies' special defense, which is not AoE until he gets to, I believe, 3 out of 5. Dire Hit Plus for maxing crit. His trainer move, which applies super effective next and raises his special attack by 3 for full self-sufficiency and buffing all of his offensive stats. And Technoblast. Technoblast is a move that is bug type because of bug shift, 240 power with 4 gauges at max power, and its big funny usage is these two passes here. He lowers enemies' type weakness rebuff if they are fire, water, electric, ice, or bug, and he does that when his attack move is successful against that target the first time each battle. So he's got -1 rebuff of these 5 types, all of which of course are related to Genesect's drives and also its typing of being bug, right? Could have done steel, but oh well. So he does have these 5 types, right? These 5 types he hits super effectively against as well via Hilbert's Plan passive, which changes the type of his attack to the type of that target's weakness when the target's weakness is fire, electric, water, ice, or, well, obviously it's bug. It's going to be bug for bug weak enemies, right? So he's able to do, again, 5 types differently on super effective damage, which is different from characters like Rose, Giovanni, and the aforementioned Challenger Gloria, where they can only do about 3 types for super effective damage. Hilbert can do 5, and that's one big thing, one big gimmick that is pretty helpful for him, and also having that super effective next just to enhance that damage further. It's really good, right? And again, that rebuff for enhancing damage, meaning if you want to bring him with any characters that want to hit those weakness stages, Hilbert's kind of a go-to, or can be a go-to in terms of enhancing their damage, again, with that rebuff and also good damage in his own right. And also, if you wanted to, you could use Metal Sound for special defense debuffs to increase his own damage and ally damage too. So that's just Hilbert at 1 out of 5, though. He does also have innate special defense debuffs with Smarty Pants. It's a bug move only, just because it's Bug Buzz, it's not Technoblast, right? So he sadly does not hit super effectively against water, ice, electric, or fire. There we go. On his sync move, but, I mean, at least Technoblast does, right? If he hits super effectively on his sync move, then that would be pretty good, right? Again, other than bug type. Anyway, with his levels of investment, Hilbert's one of those characters that has weird investment. At 3 out of 5, he gets Brain Power, which is obviously good. His nuke's already good at 3 out of 5 because of Brain Power and Smarty Pants. 200% multipliers, a Striker EX roll, AoE Bug Nuke. It's a very good nuke, right? He's also got Sync Nodes here for extra power. He's got Bug Enigma for lowering enemy special defense, as well as other abilities like Water Crush, Icy Touch, Static Brush, and a few others that are related to which type of drive he has. The biggest one is probably Bug Enigma, which debuffs special defense when his move is Bug. When the user's Bug move against the target is successful. This is good for off-type battles or also, of course, Bug Weak battles, where you're actually able to use the Bug aspect of the move, and you're able to enhance damage with special defense drops without having to use Metal Sound and mitigate your damage, right? He's also got, in turn, Bug Daunt, which is the same effect, right, except for special attacks, so he's got special attack debuffs as well. He's got Water Crush for defense debuffs against water-weak enemies. Could be good for, like, Nessa or Dojo Gloria or something like that, but for the most part, not too useful for him. Weakening Fire for attack debuffs against fire-weak enemies. Again, you can debuff those fire-weak enemies, right? Not really too useful for multiplier activation, but it is pretty solid. I mean, overall, again, if you're against fire-weak enemies, it's just a decent ability to have. Nothing really crazy, but if you do want those debuffs on them, you can go for that, right? And then Static Brush 9, leaving enemy paralyzed when attacking an electric weak enemy. A lot of electric characters do have paralysis-based multiplier, so that's something, but also, again, not really too crazy of an ability. I don't think his type-focused abilities, other than Bug Enigma, are too crazy, but, I mean, they can have their uses if you do want to make usage of them. He's also got Brain Teaser as his multiplier for Techno Blast. Combine that with the super effectiveness plus the rebuffs for being super effective if you do want to do extra damage there. And again, outside of that, a 220 power move with a 30% multiplier, plus potentially Critical Strike 2 in the Lucky Skill slot. It's going to be doing pretty decent off-type damage as well. And also, again, you're kind of empowering your nuke alongside using Bug Daunt, or the potentially AoE Metal Sound from Ripple Effect here on the grid, and having a good nuke there as well. And he's also got Charging Infliction on Metal Sound just because why not? So, I mean, he's got pretty solid tiles, I would say. Good nuke enhancement tiles, decent utility tiles as well, right? Nothing too crazy, but definitely not bad at all. And then with 5/5, he gets more stuff. He gets Super Soaring Hit, which debuffs enemy speed against the enemy that he is hitting super effectively, and he's got Cakewalk. Sadly, this only really works if you are hitting bug-weak enemies, but if you are hitting bug-weak enemies and you do have this tile, and you've got the rest of his nuking tiles, then that gives him effectively 300% total sync nuke multipliers for hitting bug-weak enemies, and they're going to be getting absolutely destroyed, right? Any bug-weak stage you want to bring Hilbert to, he will be doing very, very good damage against. Other than that, though, picking up Cakewalk, you will require a partner for the most part if you are trying to do off-type damage with him, because even most on-type stages you're going to bring him to can be easily destroyed by Brain Power and Smarty Pants. Which is why a lot of people tend to forego picking up Cakewalk anyway, simply because it's too hard to activate, and you're able to get better partners that can better enhance his damage in other methods, like probably Special Moves Next, or Special Defense Drops, or other rebuffs or zones, stuff like that can again better enhance his damage than trying to activate Cakewalk and sacrifice team building efficiency for that purpose, right? Though he does also get a node of Hilbert's Aim again. This does give you -2 rebuff instead of the -1 rebuff, so 50% extra damage again when doing that super effective damage. So if you are trying to utilize Hilbert for a very strong on-type damage dealer against water, fire, electric, bug, or ice weak enemies, he's going to be very effective in that role. Similar to Gloria, of course, being effective in the fighting, flying, and fire stages, and Rei just being good sync damage accelerator in general as well. So this is a good banner. This is a pretty good banner. Again, these characters have their use. Gloria's great for the Gauntlet, which is what this banner's for anyway, and she can enhance other types of flying, fire, or fighting. And Rei's a very fast, strong damage dealer with defense debuffs, flinches, again, a lot of sync acceleration as implied, and Hilbert can do a lot of good variety of super effective damage, and also has a very solid bug nuke on top of it, whether that be bound to on-type or off-type, and that's definitely not bad. So yeah, that's my thoughts about this Legendary Gauntlet banner. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Definitely not a bad banner to summon for. I probably won't, simply because I already have Rei 5/5, and I know I will get him if I pull him this banner, so I'd rather just wait. But yeah, whatever. I'll see y'all later. Hope y'all enjoyed. Good luck on your summons. Good luck on your skipping. Peace.